Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's another episode of Hot Take. And today we are in a B8 Audi A4 with the 2.0 turbo motor. This car is pretty close to stock, but there are a few mods, one of which is an integrated engineering stage 2 tune, which is supposed to make around 270 to 290 horsepower. Is that wheel or?
I believe that's wheel. Yeah.
Okay, we think it's wheel. Maybe you guys in the comments down below can judge, but it also has a CTS cold air intake, an Amazon blow-off valve, CTS intercooler, new stock turbo, a tint, some wheel spacers, and we have a catless downpipe, so we get all the fun turbo noises you get from doing that. Other than that, though, this car is pretty stock. There's not a ton to note, but this is the owner, Brandon. He bought this car as a daily. It's got 200 and push that in. Audi B8, 223,000 miles, which I think it presents pretty well. So we're gonna go take this out for a rip and see what it's all about. Now you gotta keep your foot in it when you're shifting. You get the fun fart noises, as they call it. So we're gonna start this in manual mode. Is there a sport mode to this car?
Yes, there is.
What does the sport mode do, and should we activate it?
The sport mode kind of just throws more fuel into the engine and just holds the gears a little bit higher. I personally don't use it because manual mode does the same thing.
Oh, okay. So this is the sport mode, basically.
Yep, you just get a little bit more control. But if you go back into drive and then down, that is sport mode.
Oh yeah, I see. You get the S down here. Okay. So initial impressions. It's pretty quick, actually. That was maybe half throttle off the line, just kind of shifting. You know, not really bringing it out. It's pretty quick. You do hear a lot of turbo noise, courtesy of, I'm sure, the things you've done to it. And the blow-off valve. I love that. It's very, very fun.
Yeah, they say you're not supposed to put a blow-off valve on these engines, but I do.
Why are you not supposed to put a blow-off valve on here?
So I think it's something with the turbo is like internal wastegate. You're not supposed to put an external blow-off valve on an internal wastegate turbo.
Oh.
It makes better noises that way. No.
Well, I already put a new turbo on it. Did you buy your new turbo on FCP Euro by chance?
I did.
Oh, well, there you go. Never have to worry about it again.
Yep.
Yeah, one thing I noticed while looking at the engine bay of this car is it's very open and easy to work on. Lots of space for doing whatever, which you were kind of telling me the Volkswagens are not as easy. Going over that rough patch of road, the suspension is very forgiving. This rides a little better than I was expecting it to, actually. Very similar to that Saab, maybe a little bit rougher. We'll see how it does in the turns up here. I gotta look down and make sure I'm hitting minus and not plus. Trying to get minus. So now we're in third. Very tight. It's pretty quiet. That's a nice little, like, almost hum up there at 4,000. Does make some very nice turbo floor noises. I like that. Yeah, and at like highway speeds. This thing actually does not feel like you're going as fast as you're going. You could easily go illegal speeds and not know it. Downshift again. Yeah, it does it beats you up a little bit on these bumps. I wouldn't say it's harsh, but you definitely feel everything in the road. You're very connected to it in that regard. But the factory suspension just seems to deaden it out a little bit.
Very German feel.
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Very German. Then when you really give it some steering input, it grips the corners really nicely. Leaves. It's that time of the year.
Yeah, you can hear a little bit of that back there.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, I love that. So we haven't really got in it yet, but you don't need to give it that much throttle to just get power out of it. This thing is pretty Oh yeah, you can hear that. If I crack the window, will it Oh man, this thing loves the corners. No pops?
Looks to pop over 3,000 right
Yeah, that was like 5. Huh. I don't know, maybe you can't summon it to, as soon as I close the window. Maybe you can't summon the pops. But I feel this car is very confident in the corners. Extremely confidence inspiring. A little bit of body roll, but it's not that bad. And the DSG is very quick to shift. I would say the opposite of slushy, although I think you said this one is a regular automatic, not a DCT.
Yes.
Yeah, it feels, I don't know if it feels like a DCT because I don't think I've driven many, but it's very quick. If you told me it was a DCT and I was an unknowing consumer, I would believe you.
Yeah, it definitely shifts fast.
It's a very quick shifting transmission, which I like a lot. This is a good automatic. And the way the manual mode is set up and everything, for performance driving, they have it down. They got it right. Yeah, I do like that a lot. This is a very good transmission. I was actually, if I were looking at one of these, I would not mind an automatic. I'm usually a manual person, but this is a very intuitive automatic transmission. That was full throttle. See, I've definitely not been in full throttle all of this entire time. But you don't really need it. This thing's properly quick. So some notable features this car has. One is you can measure your oil while you're driving, which you go to car here, and you said I scroll down?
The middle one, yep.
Middle one, scroll down. Oh yeah, oil level. If it'll, other way. Press it?
Yep.
Yeah, there you go. We're at the max. Or I'm guessing since you don't get a dipstick, that would be like the dipstick line, so it'll show you in there.
Yep.
So we're at the max, which is good. That's kind of cool. I mean, you lose a dipstick, but if it works, you replace a sensor once every, what, probably 10 years? I don't know. I think it's fine. You also get automatic wipers, which is not raining right now, but they should work. But overall, it's a very comfortable ride. It's a very docile car. It's an A4. What do you expect? But I like that. That's good. It's a very good daily. All right, manual mode speed test. Oh yeah, it's pretty quick. That's a quick car. You can feel the boost build up. You definitely, yeah, down low, you don't feel it. But once you get into that power band, it builds really quickly and it just lunges you to the red line. This is a very quick car. Other notable things about it, the steering feel is pretty good. Like I was saying earlier in the turns, it does grip up well, but a lot of German cars they'll grip well and they'll be better than your average car, but you'll kind of lose some of that feel, especially the newer ones. People complain about it a lot. But I'm happy to say the steering feel on this car is pretty solid. It's not as connected as something that, say, a sports car, like an early 90s, 2000s car, but it's still pretty good. Especially, I would say especially by modern standards, but I think the modern ones have a good steering feel too, even with the electric ones. This is a hydraulic power steering system, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So it feels, in that regard, it feels pretty solid. The pedals, brake pedal feel is actually really good. It's a little mushy, but it's very predictable and linear, so you can kind of tell what the brakes are doing, which is good. The shifter, I mean, it has a nice little click when you put it down, so make of that what you will. But I think it's a pretty good experience. Gas pedal is also pretty solid, a little light, but it feels better than your average econo box, which, I mean, that's kind of what this car is. It's an econo box with a more sporty drivetrain. You get something that, it gets good gas mileage, but you also get something nicer. You get leather seats, you get a nice quiet interior. The moonroof here seals really well. But when you want to get it onto back roads, throw it down a couple gears, it's quick, it's responsive. And I would show you, but I'm not gonna. Got two people in front of us, which is unfortunate. But this is a very good drivetrain. I like this 2.0T. This is actually my first time driving one of these. And I didn't used to be one for turbo noises, but they started growing on me in recent years. And if you like turbo noises, this is a really good drivetrain. That was a good pop.
Yeah, every once in a while it makes a decent sound.
Very solid one. All right, we'll try second gear here. It's in a turn. Oh, second is short. Nah, I probably should have been in third for that. That was, I didn't go full throttle. That was a wider turn than it looked like it was going to be initially. Oh, you can see your instant MPG.
Yeah, that's nice.
I like that a lot. Or is that instant or is that an average?
No, that's instant. You see, that's constant. With the average, if you keep hitting it, it's got like a
Oh, I see.
circle to it.
That's kind of cool. I like that. So our average MPG. So I mean, it cruises. Yeah, you get pretty good mileage while you're just kind of trolling along.
Oh yeah.
See what we got. That's pretty quick. When you do have it, when you let it shift it by itself, you can feel almost a little bit of a pause. That's where you know it's not a dual clutch, because it is a little bit slower, but it's still very quick. This is one of the best torque converter automatics I've ever driven, actually. So that is the B8 S4. Overall, it's very comfortable. I would say this is a really good daily driver. Gets good gas mileage. And I know you guys don't really care about all that, so we'll just talk about the performance. The transmission was really good, actually. Like I was saying in the video, honestly, you could trick me into thinking this is dual clutch until you get to that 7,000 RPM shift, and there's a slight pause. But I would say this is by far one of the best torque converter automatics I've ever driven, especially for '09 when this car came out, and the prices you can buy these for now. I would actually not mind having an automatic over a manual in this car. I think it's a very good transmission. The tune makes the power band really good, especially, I mean, you feel the boost. It really pulls you at like 4. And Brandon was telling me that even down low, it kind of picked it up a little bit, which is nice. The blow-off valve makes cool turbo noises. Honestly, this is I'd say the best way to put this is a fun daily that makes turbo noises. But with all that said, let's move on to the score.
In the daily category, this car gets a 6.5 out of 10. It's comfy, quiet, and has most of the features you would want. It only gets held back by a small amount of wind noise and lack of modern safety features like lane keep assist, cameras, and adaptive cruise control. For the weekend category, this car gets a 5 out of 10. It's no manual sports car, but given what it is and what it was built for, it's pretty fun. The driver's feedback is better than I expected, the steering is responsive, and the pedals tell you what the car is doing. The automatic transmission hurts the fun factor a little bit, but this is by far one of the quickest automatics I've driven from the year. This was very good for its day, and even by today's standards, it's still very quick. For the should you buy it score, it gets a 6 out of 10. This Audi is pretty solid all around and is a good daily. Reliability is a concern people have these motors, but the internet tends to overblow issues, which seems to be the case here. This one with almost 230,000 miles on it has no oil consumption if you wanted to testament to the 2.0T motor. Furthermore, if you're willing to get your hands dirty wrenching, then you can drive this car pretty affordably relative to its competition from the era. This totals us up to 17.5, putting it here on our list. This Audi is less fun to drive than the E46 330xi and less cool since those cars are starting to become rare. However, it is quicker and more nimble than the Saab 9.3 from the era. I think the B8 A4 gets overlooked a lot since it isn't really anything special. But if you want a fun, turbocharged, all-wheel drive daily, this is an excellent choice.